Okay, welcome back, guys. Good morning. Just confirm for me that everything is good, audio, visual, everything looking cool. Let's see if YouTube is working here. All right. Okay, so we got some kind of move right before the open. A run all the way up here to 26,812. If we go out to, let's start with the top down first, okay? So we've got our daily chart. Obviously, we're still bullish. Okay, we just took out this level here. Pre-market, we had just barely taken it out. But then we had this nice little run up just before the market opened here. And now this level is pretty close. And these are all-time highs. Okay, so when we're trading to all-time highs, I love it when we're trading to all-time highs because it makes the draw on liquidity very, very easy. So we've got 4-hour structures bullish, right? Even these like retracements are very tiny, right? We had a 4-hour imbalance that we traded into yesterday, which we have now rejected from and started to move higher. We didn't have a 4-hour imbalance, or did we? Yeah, I guess we did. This tiny one right here. We had a daily imbalance as well, but they were also very tiny. And then we had this big move. Okay, so what I had wanted to see price do was before we got this push up here, because we were forming this kind of sweep above the highs over here. So I wanted to see price come back down through here and then give us a retest of the order block. So our higher time frame point of interest would have been this order block here, right? Because we had the change of character. Price dipped into it, right? Swept some sort of low. And what I wanted to see was price come back, make some sort of low like this, sweep it, and then give us the move up, right? Unfortunately, we had none of that, right? Instead, we just saw price basically move straight up and through. Okay, so yeah, unfortunately, that's what happened. So we got to wait for this retracement. I mean, I guess we could have traded the open, but you can see price is already moving down. We have our high up here. We have our low over here. So let's see how far we get down into that low. Right at this point, like I said, the draw is still going to be that high. We could get a pretty big reaction off of this level, obviously, because this is all-time highs, right? So the same reaction that I was expecting over here could potentially happen over here. And you can see we do have also an internal high over here, right? This little high right here, trading into that pool, and now giving us the big sell-off that I was expecting over here that didn't happen. Could happen here today. Right, so here's some levels we can watch, right? Obviously closing through this level here. Let's go to the 15-minute, right? We just closed through that level right there. If we get a run through or close through the New York low, that's going to be a change of character, right? And then we can look for a potential reversal to go lower from there to run these liquidity levels down below us, these swings, and then eventually previous daily low, right? Because we were already traded above previous daily high. This is only going to work, though, obviously, if we trade below previous day high. This is a pretty nice reaction, though. I'm not really sure what's going to happen in terms of what price wants to go for first. Are we going to build in some liquidity here at the top? Let's take a look at the weekly. Maybe a weekly will give us some insight here. A weekly candle was huge. It's been huge. Three massive bullish weeks, right? If you look at where this week started down here at the gap open to where we have now ended up, I mean, we're about to eclipse 2,000 points if we take the all-time high. What could also happen is we get a minor retracement here, right? We come back up for the high, we take the high, and then we get a huge drop off. There's that daily swing right there. I guess the 4-hour is a little different. Oh, okay, I see. Not sure why that's. Anyways, we'll use the daily. We'll use the daily level there. Okay, so we do have an order block here, right? We just don't have any liquidity sitting underneath that order block. Let's see. So be like this move right here, or we could even say this move right here, but that didn't touch. So let's see. Okay, so that is the current reaction, right, from this move here. The midpoint of the whole order block we didn't touch either, so just using the highest swing. Right, if we get this reaction to close above here, we have ourselves a change of character. I guess it should be this one, or even this one. Nope, this one. I'll try to get some. I'll try to get some music for the YouTube stream. What do you guys think? Should I have some music in the background? Probably make it better. Look at all of these lows down here. Now, is that stacked liquidity or is it stacked liquidity? It'll be a nice rundown to take all of that out if this does actually confirm for us. So we've got the, let's see, do we have, all right, so 15-minute closure here, right, starting the 9:30. We want to see if price will stay under the level here on this next 15-minute close. We're going to use the fib tool here, right? And so if we get this nice little high level here and we're looking for price to reverse, then we're going to look for something like this where we see price open, manipulate to the 50% to the order block, right? Take out this high, stay under this level here, and then continue lower. Right, and then we'll see if we can get down to that New York low. Little something. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. Seems like a nice little ambient music in the background. Might be something chill and relaxing. Let's see here. Yeah, so we're just going to kind of watch this candle closure. See if we get that nice pin bar or this doji to stay bearish like that. We'll leave the high intact. I wonder if we'll get, let's see if this high is a swing on the 1 minute. And it is, right? We got some divergence as well. But what I'd like to see is, so what we have now is we have our sweep level, right? We've got our confirmation or close. We've got our change of character. We've got our range. Because now we have the retracement, right, from this level here. Okay, now this is a little bit riskier because I don't have a full confirmation yet that this is actually going to reverse. Why? Because I don't have the 15-minute change of character, right? This is just off of the 15-minute candle close, which is on the 1 minute here. As you can see, it's a change of character level. So now we're building in the highs, but this is exactly what I want to see is when the candle closes, we want these highs intact here. And then the next candle opening will be our 15-minute, kind of PO3 candle, right? So we see price open, we'll take the level, trade back into the disc or the premium, right? So we've got the 50% here. We sweep the liquidity. We've got an order block here. We've got looks like an imbalance here, but I'd like to see price, sweep the level here and then stay under the level, right? So trade back below the 50%, and then we can look for a potential short back down to the near close, because we haven't taken out either side yet. So, and then once we take the lows and we get that sweep, then we can look for a move back to the opposing side. All right. Slow goings here, but it's Friday, okay? So we don't want to rush anything, obviously. We have a name for Fridays. So if you don't want to find out, stay in your lane. Oh, we got a little move there. I don't know what that was, but full port Friday. Maybe for some people. Okay, coming up on the 15-minute close here. So let's take a look at the candle. It's going to be a bullish pin bar, looks like. Okay, so that's good. We did stay under the 50% here, but I would like to see it now take those highs and trade into this OB. So we got a 15-minute OB here. Good close. Right, highs remain. Divergence highs as well. So let's see if we come back and sweep the 50%, hit the order block, and come down. So let's see, right now, stop would be pretty large, 120 points. Going to the bottom of the range would be about 100 points. And then traveling down to here would give us our 1-to-1. So I'd like to see price come up and sweep these highs, hit this level here. All right, the only thing that, you know, is not as strong is that we don't have that 15-minute, like I said, that 15-minute change of character. If we had that and the inversion here, it would make a much stronger case for price to go lower. And then, you know, obviously that would be, you know, the target wouldn't be the low anymore because we'd have the low taken at that point. So the stronger, you know, sell confirmation would be like we'd invert this imbalance here. Okay, so if this does play out the way I wanted to, we invert this imbalance here and then we close through this low, right? And then we get this continuation down to take out the rest of these swings. So let's see. So much liquidity below us. Okay, that is a good reaction, but we didn't sweep any of the we didn't sweep into the highs, so maybe we'll do that here. The fact that we have divergence, though, probably means that, you know, we may not also get that sweep, so it's okay. I mean, this is, like I said, it's not as confirmed as if we got the change of character and the inversion, and then we could look for the move down. All right, coming back. Let's see if we take those highs. Okay, right now this is the order block that is rejecting price. All right, we do have this divergence here, like I said. This high is 719.25, and this one is, wait, that's not right. Yeah, that is 719. Okay, so this almost got there, half or one tick away, but didn't quite get higher. Let's see if we reject this 700 level. Right, that's a good rejection. We almost got there. We didn't. It's like, what was this? This was 718, 75. Let's see if we do it on this candle here. Here we go. Okay, let's tap into the zone here. We've got order block here. We've got divergence on those highs. Right, these have now been swept, so we just want to see a closure back through that EQ point. This is no longer relevant. All right, but we have price is respecting the bullish order block down here, right? We've got divergence, and now we've got change of character. So this is where we have conflicting biases, right? And because we didn't get that bearish change of character, this is more so, confirming bullish for us. So if we do take a short, it's going to be a quick one, and I wouldn't, want to trade too far against this trend here. But we are still inside the range. Okay, so I'd, still want to see price either sweep out this low here to go long instead of waiting for all this, because this still, this could go long. But if we get a move up to take out the highs here, that would be a better short than taking this one in between, even though this could still work out. But like I said, we're caught between two biases right now, right? We have two potentially valid directions that we could trade based off of these structures here. Okay, so there's the trade above. Didn't quite get the closure through here. Let's see if the next one does it. Okay, now we got divergence there, and we got the closure below. Right, I'm not taking this trade here, but we'll just see. I'm gonna see if this plays out, because I would have taken this. Whoops. Yeah, but there's lots of, there's a big move here that came back up here. This could also be manipulation right now. I'm still in the middle of the range. That's why I'm just kind of hesitant in taking this. Rather take it after we sweep out a clear level here on the 15-minute range, rather than taking these like 1 minute kind of gyrations, even though it looks like it could be good. But I would have taken it if we had gotten this set up right here after sweeping out this high. Then for sure, yeah, the closure here would have been my entry, and my stop would have been above this order block, would have been 40 points, and then we would have got 1-to-1 right away. But let's see what happens when we get down here. So this would probably potentially play out here, but again, still in this 15-minute consolidation range, so we're just going to play a little cautious today. We had a nice win yesterday. I don't want to mess it up right afterwards with a hasty move here. But it is doing exactly what I wanted it to, right? So the next candle traded above previous high. We traded into the order block, and then we got a rejection. We did get a move down. Didn't quite take the low yet. Okay, and we will see if we get follow through here or just some kind of manipulation. We did have the divergence here, so this should hold, meaning that YM did trade up into the OB, whereas NQ just kind of fell short here. New York is consolidation. I mean, after a move like that, right, in the beginning of the day, after moving, like, I mean, think about how far we moved. We've moved, this is no small move. Right, almost 400 points. Okay. I mean, I guess that's, you know, business as usual for NASDAQ, but our moves, you know, haven't really been that big. Yesterday's move was less than 300, and this was a big move on Wednesday here. 400 move. We had a little blurb in between there, and I guess Tuesday had a big move as well. Tuesday was, yeah, also about 400. So it's about, yeah, it's about par for the course. And we're getting a retracement here, so, you know, like I said, it's, you know, it's probably better to wait for price to sweep out a range high first, right, instead of trading this chop in between. So that's what we'll do. But we can watch and see how these internal swings and setups played out. The short here is, you know, it's still working, but, you know, we're not really in a good spot, right? The short would have been, this would have been the entry, and we were currently up like around 20-ish points. Did get down to 40 here, 45 on this spike, which would have been a 1R, but unless you had your take profit set there already, that happened like in an instant, right? You got 45 and then it kicked back right away. So if you didn't have the TP level set there, you're sitting in this chop right now still, waiting for it to come back down there. Goal is for it to come down all the way through to this low here, right? So essentially looking for around 120 points. So yeah, let's see if we get this. Maybe we get another run into this OB since we didn't get it here. Right, so the bullish side of this, right, like I said, we came down here and we rejected the order block, right? We saw price move pretty aggressively away from it. We got the change of character, and then we also had price doing the retracement. So this would have been our bullish range. Okay, coming back to these lows here, you can see that we did create the liquidity here, and the discount would have been here. There's nothing really here in the discount besides this order block. So really we just take it from the bottom of the wick to the bottom of the order block here, and this would have been the entry zone. So price dipped into it, right? We came all the way down, we had a divergence, closed back above. Right here would have been the entry. Okay, with another 60-point stop here, and now 1-to-1 would have been achieved right now. And the other end of the range over here giving us 2R if we can run out that high side. Okay, so now we're tapping into that 15-minute level there. The 10 o'clock has closed, right? So we've got the 4-hour close, and that 15-minute close was bullish. Okay, so let's look at the 4-hour close as well. 4-hour close is bullish, but we did close underneath that level. Let's see if we closed under that 4-hour level as well. We didn't, right? 4-hour level was a little bit lower. It was here. So let's see. Still? No, we didn't, right? So we closed above the 4-hour high. So that doesn't really give us confirmation. And now that we've closed back above here, right, I'm going to look for price to now reach for these levels instead. All right, we are getting a reaction here at the OB, which is good. So I'm going to be looking for potentially sweeps in between. I don't really see anything clean though. The best thing that we saw was this imbalance. So maybe right here we have another imbalance. Right here we have an order block here, and we want to stay above this level as well. So now that we've closed above it here, staying above this level here to then reach for those highs. So let's see here, potentially we could get a retrace back into this imbalance and then a closure above. So 725 I think would be the best case scenario. And then we have about a 55 or 60 point stop underneath the wick here to run out this high. Okay, so we have reaction, change of character, right? We missed the initial entry here, so now we're just looking for continuations to run out the levels. And each, successive bearish POI, so like here is an order block, right? That should take price lower. If this fails, then we're going to, see price continue to go higher. How is it going to fail? It's going to fail by giving us a change of character, right? Our stop is going to be down here, so it'll protect us if it does, do like a sweep or something. But if it closes through this level here, comes down to this level here, then that's most likely going to be this order block holding, right? And we've got this little swing here, which is really nice. Okay, so I want to see price now trade into 725, right? Their stop below here, and then running for that high into the range. Okay, again, I'm not taking this setup. I'm just showing you guys the consolidation ranges and the in the 1 minute setups that could be had if we had price sweeping out the levels that we want. I still want to see price take out these bigger levels. Don't really want to be trading all this kind of chop in between. Just like over here, right? I told you this was a setup that we would take if we had confirmed, but obviously because we're in chop, lo and behold, it doesn't work out. Okay, same thing with this. This could come up and we could take out, one of these highs, just this high or maybe this high, and then we can come all the way back down here, right, and run some additional internal low. So I don't really want to be involved in this kind of wishy-washy chop here, but I'll still study the moves, right, and I'll still look for confirmations of the setup, if they exist or not. Okay, so here we have run through of this OB, so obviously that's not holding anymore. Next one's going to be the one above here, another imbalance here as well. We have divergence on this high, And it looks like that one remained unless this goes through this level now. So we got to clear this high in order for this to go away. There we go. Yeah, I guess it's this high right here. Well, lots of bearish diversions firing off now. Still making its way up. Very slow and deliberate candles. Not too exciting, but this is why we sit on our hands. And I know it's kind of tough to just kind of like sit here and watch this go without trying to get involved. But, you know, like I said, it's when we're consolidating, when we're in the range, you know, moves like this happen a lot, right? We get a big sweep underneath, takes out, you know, weak sellers, weak buyers. Or you might have your stop, you know, somewhere in between, intermediate. Like if you had your buy level here, your stop would have to be at some, you know, pretty meaningful areas. So like, you know, at least under like here or here, and that means your stop is going to be huge, relative to your take profit, which is right here, I mean, it's going to give you a negative R. So, you know, if you take the whole range here, this high to this low, okay, if we're aiming for price to go either direction, either above these highs or below these lows, you know, we want to be buying down in this region here below so that we at least can assure that we get a 1-to-1, right? If I take a buy or sell at the equilibrium or around the 50%, right, I know I'm going to get a 1-to-1 because my target's going to be above that high and my stop is going to be below the low, right? So I know I'm going to get at least a 1-to-1 either way, buying or selling. So at this point, I definitely don't want to be buying anything, right? Because my stop has to be protected at a low that's protected and it's way too big. I could be entertaining shorts right now, but we don't have confirmation of that. And once we get confirmation of it, we could be back below the 50%. And like I said, we're still in this consolidation, right? We could get a move like this and it could come right back against us. Our higher time frame bias is bullish. So, you know, it's best really not to trade against that unless we get a 15-minute sweep, right? Or some kind of higher time frame sweep, right? Because otherwise it's going to, you know, pull moves like this on us all the time. And fast manipulation lower, and then, you know, price will probably pop back up here. So we've got this next order block here. An imbalance is the reaction that we're seeing above this swing high right here. So yeah, look at that right there, right? So we got a swing high in the premium. Okay, we have our order block here. We have price now closing below the level here. Okay, so this was a valid short setup or short range after we had taken out liquidity above this high here. Then this would have been a potential short. This would have been a nice short because it's up in the premium, right? So we have a closure below here, entry on the closure, stop goes above this high, around 60 points, right? And then you're looking for the other opposing end of the range here, 250. Or sorry, not 250, 2.5 R. 150 points. All right, let's see if this divergence holds. Next 15-minute closure is coming up here. It's going to be another bullish candle. So again, further kind of confirming that we will probably come up and take that high. There's the close. certainly not the most fun, but like I said, I mean, these are the conditions where if you're sitting watching these candles and you're getting bored, right, and you're just putting trades on because you're bored, this is where you're going to lose the most amount of money or blow accounts, is right in these conditions where price is kind of just chopping around like this, back and forth, giving you kind of these big inducement moves, trying to fake you out. Right, but you always got to keep in perspective that you're still inside this big range, right? So we still have to see liquidity take out, you know, one of those sides. Yeah, we had that sweep in Asia here with the divergence. That was nice, right? And so London kind of triggered this nice move. We didn't have a, well, I guess technically we did have a New York. This is 6:30 now. It's not that early, right? So, yeah, New York gave us this big retracement back into the order block here, right? And that's the move that we're seeing right now. Oh, there we go. Get a little movement now. So you can see that confirmation is holding, right? We have the divergence is holding, the order block and the point of interest here is holding. So obviously there's consolidation there, but so our setup, our short here with the stop above the high, right? You could put it above the order block as well, right? Because you're expecting the divergence to hold, you're expecting the order block to hold, and you know. If this was, like I said, a valid setup, this would be a liquidity sweep, a higher time frame POI sweep, right? So the first step of the checklist would be fulfilled here. Liquidity sweep in the higher time frame POI, and then, you know, then we have the displacement, right? And then we have the change of character, okay? And now we have the retracement into the range, taking out the internal high, trading back into a premium POI, and then getting the reaction, right? So the entry would be here. And then your stop would be above that order block. And then trading down here to the lows would be your ideal target, okay? But, you know, that 1-to-1 first marker here would invert the imbalance, okay? So we'd see if we get a reaction there. First point. Next would be the 2R to take out the lows here. And then 3R to take out the lows here, right? And then this would be like a bonus if you were to get that to play out. All right, we're getting follow through. The first level, there we go. First level would be hit. Oh, there we go. So let's see here. This right there. So first TP hit, but like I said, if your TP wasn't there at that 1R, like you're back at, you know, you're back at 10 points now, right? 15 points. Okay, just like over here, we had a full 1R, and then it came right back, and now it is retracing on us. This could do the same thing, and I'm expecting it to, as long as we close above this line. What do we say the buy? We wanted to buy at 725, right? 725 was that buy that we wanted to see. And that was just because it was tied to this imbalance, but we've already got the reaction from the imbalance. So anything above the 720 mark, yeah, like I said, we'll probably want to run higher. And now we've got divergence and a bullish close. Let's see what this does. I mean, the sheer fact that how fast that went down, right? It went so fast, and then we came right back up, right? That to me is manipulation. And now that we're closing back above, so closing above here will seal the deal for me, pretty much, as in it's going to go higher. So we'll see if we get closure back above this line. And then this order block level would be invalidated. All right, so we did hold the level, close back below bullish candles. Now let's see if we close back through the imbalance. It's 15 looking like, still looking like chop. Welcome, Zane. I'm glad to see you on the stream again. So yeah, even if we were in the short right now, I mean, look at where we would be sitting. not too pretty. Still around 15, 20 points, hovering. Not really getting anywhere. I guess being in profit would be a good thing, but still 10, 15 points is sitting through this like hour-long chop is it's pretty degrading. All right, making our way down. Let's see if we can get through this threshold. So what that line is that high of that 15-minute candle there. It's not really anything that special. It is also, let's see, it's that 4-hour high as well. Let's see. Yeah, this high, right? So quite interesting that that level is also that 15-minute high. But it's important, right? Because if we do actually have a reversal happening, then we do have to, close back through that level. So you can see that we tried to, and then we came back up, tried to again, right? Came back up. So this level here that's being defended, if it stays above that level, then we're likely going to see price continue to push up because our liquidity above here is much closer. And of course, liquidity up here is, if it's thin, then we've got to generate it, right? So we've got to build it in. So getting us a strong move down like that, right, induces a lot more sellers into the market at the top of a very, very high range, putting more stops up here, right, and building a bigger liquidity pool of stops for us to come back for, right, if we are going to be generating a move like that. All right, 10:30 is about to close in 20 seconds, and we're going to get another pin above the level. See what the 1 minute looks like. I mean, we're slowly making our way down there on the 1 minute, but it's still, like I said, still very, very choppy. Hey, Chuck. Glad to see you on. Yeah, and absolutely. So this is, I mean, like I said, the all-time highs is a great time to be trading because the draw liquidity is so clear, right? So we know that price is going to want to come up here, right? So we just really should be focusing on looking at, buy signals and buy setups. But to your point, right, because that's happening, a lot of people are also anticipating the sell-off, right? So there's going to be a lot of, like I said, not a whole bunch of liquidity here because we've already been moving up steadily for a very long time, right? Many days, actually. We've been moving higher and higher. So, we've already been taking a lot of liquidity up above these highs already, right? So all liquidity is thinning out. So they've got to create more liquidity, and they've got to induce more sellers into the market, right, to create that sentiment. Because if there isn't enough liquidity up here, there's no way, they can make that happen. So, they've got to sell. They've got to sell. They've got to induce. They've got to create that sentiment. So once they got enough, sellers in the market, right, then we can make the move back up. And, at the same time, at the same time, if we're going to make the move up, we also have to come down and take out, lows. So that's why waiting for the range to form and then looking for the sweep of the range is going to be your best bet in these conditions. If we do get a nice, movement down through this 50% level, though, wouldn't be opposed to taking, a short down here, like I said, to the lows. And that opportunity was like one of these candles. Like if we had inverted the imbalance here with a bearish candle, like if this had closed bearish instead of this bullish pin like this, right, then we could have looked for some sort of retracement, back into this candle and then looked for a move down to that low. Right, it's still possible, but I would think that if we do come back down here to these lows and invert this imbalance or take out this low, then we'd already be at the low. So at that point, you just look for the sweep of the low and then the move back up. Would be a much much more high probability setup in that case. And there's the move back up. So look at that, right on that line. That's 725, holding nicely now. What he said, 725, back into this imbalance. Stop below here, right? 55 points. Yeah, easily 1-to-1. So the same logic that I'm using off of this move here, right? So you can see here we had a little consolidation. We had a huge move up. Okay, price comes down, takes out some internal lows, right? Unfortunately, this is the only ones that we can see here that are close. There are no closer ones here. We would much rather have, lows like sitting like this, just above it, and then price tapping into it like that. But if you take a look here, we had divergence, right? So technically this was our swing low. We saw price come down here and give us divergence. So if there was no divergence, then you would have seen this go lower, right? Would have been a lower low, swept that out, okay? And then you get the move. And the setup would have been, this, once we get the sweep and then the closure back above it, right? So this candle right here would be technically the entry. All right, so same logic. We have price moving away aggressively. Price comes back into retest the order block, right? So your first step of that checklist is higher time frame point of interest, right? So there's the higher time frame point of interest, which is the 15-minute, or sorry, the in this case is the 1 minute, right? So I'm just using the 1 minute structure. So imagine this is higher time frame, okay? A higher time frame, OB, order block, imbalance, whatever. Okay, we want to sweep into that level. Unfortunately, we don't have a sweep into the level, but we do get the change of character away from it. Okay, so that confirms that this is a valid reaction, right? It's not just a fake move or a fake reaction, right? Because we do have the actual change of character, meaning price is now closed back above, right, that reaction. And we also created and imbalance, right? So now we have also displacement and change of character, right? So displacement, change of character, higher time frame point of interest, right? We didn't have the sweep, unfortunately. There's no level here, but probably on a lower time frame, like a 15-second or seconds time frame, I'm sure we'll see some structure here that we swept, right? Or even just this low, this candle low here. Okay, and then we get the retracement, right? The price retraces after we get the move like this, okay? And we would like to have seen price come back and take like this level here, right, as the sweep, the internal sweep, and then trade into like the order block and then trade away, okay? Unfortunately, this one doesn't give it to us. So we break structure again, and now we have a new continuation structure, high to low. Okay, once again, price comes back in, sweeps these levels, trades into the OB, and then we get the move away. Change of character happens. Well, it's got to be this swing right here, right? This is the swing high that comes down here into this level. So here we get the change of character, right? And now we have our potential range, because we did get a little kickback here. All right, this low here has divergence, so we may not get a sweep below here as our internal sweep because we have divergence. But this would be the sweep into the discount POI and then the move up. Unless this is a little bit high in the range, but certainly could be. So sweep into that level here, maybe this as the OB, or I would say this whole thing, this whole down move. This swing high down to this swing low with the divergence, right? That's our mini swing, that's our order block, okay, inside of our discount range here. So a move down to take that out into the order block and then moving up. All right, so as you can see, that did not hold, and we are through. And now this is going to be the next level. So we're close to our range high. Let's see if we get a reaction. It's already 40 after, so I don't think we'll get a setup in the session here, but let's see if we get some kind of reaction to this level. Oh, and there it goes. Boom. Straight through. Okay, at this point, our all-time highs are right here. Okay, so I would expect a retracement. So, we could look for a retracement setup back into the range, but I'd probably be more likely looking for the buy setup back up. But there is probably going to be a retracement, kind of like this, back into the range. Maybe we do come back and sweep the other end of the range after taking this high. So we could look for that. Okay, and again, looking for it to come back and cross this level here would probably do it for me, right? So if we do cross this threshold and come back below this level, then this is probably going to be a likely target. We stay above this, then then we're probably going to be looking at internal sweeps of a retracement and then going higher. Let's see how the 45-minute will close. So we got 3.5 minutes. If the 45-minute candle here closes above, then like I said, we'll probably use like this order block. This will probably be an order block that we can trade back into. So what does that look like? Yeah, this down here, right? So we have a swing here. We've got an imbalance here. We've got this level here. So yeah, I'm going to use the same level that we just marked out. Just like that. So we need a retracement, right? We've got a we have our change of character. We almost had our retracement here, but this is now that we've taken this high here, we get a retracement back into the range, trade back into this internal liquidity, back into this order block, and then the move up to take out the draw. So notice how many times we had huge spikes lower, right? But then immediately it came right back. So huge spike lower, immediately came back. Huge spike lower, not immediately, but very, very slowly. And then we saw acceleration, came back, right? All of this is manipulation. And this is expected behavior right before we reach all-time highs, because they need to build in that liquidity, right? They need to induce those sellers in the market and get us to, fall for the sell, thinking that it's going to reverse. All right, so I think that they will still need to build in some liquidity up here, right, before we take out the final level here. So I think that we will get some kind of big retracement after taking this high, and that's what we could look for going forward. Let's see how this candle closes. It's going to close above, I think. Yeah, so I would look for, like I said, a run back into. So this is our higher time frame POI right now, where price sits. If we get the continuation on a shallow retracement, okay, our high is going to be still, well, it'll be a new swing high right after this candle formation. But we have the sweep of the pre-market highs here, right? And then if we get a closure back inside, closure back inside that also closes back through this level here. Okay, so the order block will hold. I think the order block will hold. If we're bullish, we'll see price continue higher. If we get the closure back inside here and then the order block fails, but we also close back through this level, right? Why is that level relevant? It's that 4-hour swing high over here. Okay, that we're trading now into this OB, right? It's hard to see, I know, with the June contracts here. But once we get past that level, then that will basically confirm the higher time frame sweep, right? The 4-hour sweep of that level. Okay, and then we can look for a retracement and then move down to our next points of interest, which is going to be New York lows, and then the next level down, the next 4-hour high that we swept. Okay, so a little bit longer stream today, but yeah, I'm gonna leave it here because obviously we still need to wait for retracement for a setup to long, and then we also need to wait for our short setup, right? The trade back below and the change of character and everything. Okay, so we'll look for that going into the PM session. Just remind you guys it is Friday, right? So, you know, you don't have to force anything if it's not there. We didn't really want to force setups in this range, you know, like we would have gotten caught out a few times here. We've gotten one-to-ones, sure. And if we had taken the long entry down at this level here, then obviously this one would have worked out nicely. But again, sitting through chop like this, you know, it's always very, very stressful, frustrating, right? Not the best situation to be in. Much rather have clean moves like we had yesterday, where we got our, you know, TP in just a couple candles. So, all right, we'll end it here today. We've got our Saturday session tomorrow. For those of you that can join us, and if there's any questions, just let me know. All right, but I think we'll conclude today's stream here, and we'll wait for a PM setup. Let's see if something sets up in the afternoon session. All right, guys, thanks a lot. I'll see you on the next one. Take care.